Thank you for joining me. This is Katie Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast, The Power of Identity. We are talking to the one and only Kourtnee Jinright is here today. And if you aren't already following Kourtnee, you're missing out. We put the link to her Instagram in our show notes. Let me just tell you about her. She has over 180,000 followers on social media, and it's because of how inspiring she is in the way that she is bringing the industry together towards a creative mission of innovation and inspiration. So she has been a hairstylist for over 12 years, a content creator, an educator with a passion for helping artists step into their fullest potential. She is the creator of House of Artisan, which is an online education platform built on collaboration, community, and artistry. She's also the co-host of the Overprocessed podcast. We have that link in our show notes as well, where she loves connecting with creatives, sharing real stories, and celebrating growth in all forms. She believes deeply in manifestation and living life led by intention. So without further ado, help me welcome Kourtnee Jinright. Welcome to Be on the Technique.
Thank you so much for having me. That was a great introduction. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And I love following you on social, and I see that you're a yogi, it looks like, which I'm very passionate about. And so just finding your breath, finding that place to center yourself, I think is really key. Have you always
Yeah.
been like that? Like, is that the way kind of like you grew up? Tell me a bit about your life story and how you landed in the beauty industry.
So I landed in the beauty industry. I originally wanted to be a sign language interpreter, but school is just really not for me. Like I'm one of those people that I can sit there and look at a book and study for 8 hours and completely bomb a test. So I knew that was not going to last and I was going to waste a lot of money in college. And I'm not trying to be one of those people that's like,
Mm.
I can't do it. Like I know I can do anything, but I know what's best for me, and that's more of a visual type of learner. So I didn't want to go through all the math, the science, all that stuff. So my dad one day was like, "You should really be a hairstylist." And my first thoughts was like, "I don't want to work at like, no offense. I now I'm like, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter." But I didn't want to work at a Great Clips because that was the only experience that I had ever had. I've never known of like a real salon. And so I went into the industry and I was just like, whatever, I have nothing else to like, what do I have to lose? And I ended up really liking it. And it was one of those things that did not come easy for me at all. Like, I didn't know anybody in the industry, I never had any family members. So, I was raised by a dad. So I was lucky just to have like shampoo. Like, I didn't even know what really like a deep conditioning mask was. I didn't know how to straighten my hair, I didn't know how to do anything. So, going in there, it was really terrifying. And I felt very much alone in this industry. I felt like there was like a lot of cattiness, and that kind of led me to like a ton of anxiety. So then that's kind of when I started yoga. And building my clientele was, it was hard back then because I made a lot of mistakes. They didn't have the education that they have now. And so yeah, 12 years later, I look back and I'm like, holy cow, like can you cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, holy shit. I really, really, really wish I had what basically I'm creating now. But there's so much education, and I'm proud of where I came from, even though it was like it took a long time to get here. You know, I can proudly say I started from like truly zero
Mm.
and then worked my way up.
Well, I love your dad, and I've never even met him, just hearing about him. And okay, for everybody listening, if you watch today's show, you'll see on our YouTube channel that Kourtney has this long, beautiful, curly, natural hair. Did your dad know how to work? When you said shampoo, I was like, ooh, did your dad know how to help you with your curly hair?
Okay, so long story short, my parents, they got a divorce when I was like 12. So like no, I think it was like 11. So at that time, like my mom did my hair, and then when we went separate ways, I just didn't think about it, and I was like, "Oh my God, what do I do?" So I would take the straightener and just like didn't use it correctly and it just go over and over and it was like board straight, it looked like shit, you know? But he I never knew how to I just worked straight all the time. I never knew how to embrace my curls literally until like later into my career. So I knew like when I literally tell you I hardly had conditioner or like I never knew how to wear makeup. So all this is just super foreign to me. But now I can finally say like I've embraced all of it.
Ah, well, you are a natural beauty, and I don't know if the red is natural, but it's perfect for you.
It's fake, girl, but
Yeah.
I it works.
Yeah. Well, I'm a natural blonde, but sometimes you gotta do what's better for you. I know, I know, I know. You
Me
gotta just move
too.
into what's best for you, right? So, I get that. And cool that your dad had been the one to kinda see the potential of this industry for you, and so
Yeah.
I also think that's really sweet. And I agree with you that, over 12 years ago, there weren't the outlets that you have now. But even as you progressed in your career, you wanted to create an outlet for other people, which led to the House of Artisan. So I'm curious, what was missing, or maybe more so, what did you have the desire for to create that wasn't already in existence that you saw the possibility for? Tell us about that.
Well, I love that question because I do feel like when you go on social media, you see a lot of people and they're like, oh, this industry is oversaturated. And it definitely is very defeating if you really truly want to become an educator. So, what I felt like I hadn't seen and that really resonates with me to my deepest core is collaboration and helping others. I mean, there's room for everybody at the table, even in an oversaturated market. And so I was like, I really want to work with other artists. We can help each other grow so they can come onto my online education. We work together on a client. And then if they really resonate with the stylist, so a couple people that I have on is like Ani on Owens, Katie Hill, Kate Thompson. And so if when they feel like they resonate with somebody, then they lead to their online education. And it's just helping each other when on both ends. And I felt like I didn't really see that, and I wanted to create that. I work better with people who want the best for each other and not tear each other down. I don't like that. I don't work well with people like that.
When you first got in the industry, you brought up that you were in an environment where there was cattiness. Did you have
Yeah.
to eventually create your own environment where that didn't exist, or did you find a place in which you could thrive that was an exception?
I was definitely raised as a people pleaser. And so I think I got walked all over a lot. And I have learned to really set boundaries and what I want to accept and what I don't. And I felt like I hate to say that because it's like who's the common denominator, but pretty much at every salon I worked at, I just felt really alone. I never felt like and then when I did, they would leave and I'd be like, "Where are you going?" Like I finally found someone I connected to, but I will be very transparent for 10 years. I was like, "I don't get it. Why can't I find my person?" And I remember like crying to my partner who I'm with now. And I was like, "I don't understand. Like, why don't people want to collaborate? Why don't people want to be there for each other and like support each other? Like, why is it always this like jealousy thing? Like, I don't get it. Like, if I feel jealous of somebody, I will be like, well, what can you teach me?" And then vice versa. You know what I mean? And literally after 10 years of being like, why, I decided to go on my own. And it was the best decision for me. And sooner than later, I found my best friend, Robbie. And it was like the best thing ever. I finally felt like my person in the industry who feels the exact same way as I do. And it took a long, long time to get there, but it was worth the wait.
Well, and with over 180,000 followers on social media, building this platform where people can collaborate means there are truly a lot of people who want the same thing. They want to feel like they
Yeah.
belong, that this can be about learning from the best of what everybody brings in their own unique way to the table. And I'm curious for you, when it comes to the magic that you bring that's unique, what's your unique thing or the way you go about it that's a little different?
Yeah. Well, I will say that I am brand new into the educate. Are you asking like as an education standpoint?
Or behind the chair or anything that you are up to.
Well, I do feel like what separates me is that I do know sign language and I have this way of connecting with people that connects very deeply. So I think that's, just the way I was raised. I've always kind of been a lone wolf. So I've became a very curious person and I would ask people a lot of questions and really get to know them deeper. And so for those reasons, I feel like I can connect to people and understand them just so much better than just like that random person that goes in and out. You know what I mean?
I would imagine that it means that you're also really talented at, like, reading others, and if they don't know how to
Yeah.
articulate what they feel, you can sort of pull that out of them.
I can sense too, like my clients, I can sense when they're anxious. So at that point, I'm really changing my way of doing things by sitting down, by, reassuring them, by when they're explaining what they want to me, regurgitate it back in a different way, giving them options, just like validating their experience. And for people who maybe aren't anxious but tend to be more like an avoidant type, I just kind of, go off into the humor and that tends to work. Or I kind of let them have their space and then they'll eventually, when they feel like it's the right time to talk, they will. So I do feel like almost like a chameleon in a sense, but I think that's a strength of mine.
Yeah. Well, there it is
Yeah.
right there, which I think is cool to identify. I love
Thanks.
that. And with your platform, House of Artisan, and by the way, for everybody listening, that's also included in our show notes so you can check out that platform. But I'm curious if that is brand agnostic, or are there specific brands that you work with and teach how to use these brands when you're doing the
Yeah.
services?
Yeah, so I am new into the Danger Jones world, and I'm very, very, very proud of it. I don't have anything signed, sealed, date, but it is something that I've been very low key about for quite some time. And I feel I've been very low key about it is because this is the first brand that I feel so deeply about, and I wanted to cherish it for myself. And so I post like little sneak peeks and stuff like that, but I am very like I've pretty much went from using L'Oreal, which I had no problems with at all, but I feel so deeply and passionate about Danger Jones because not only do all their products genuinely work, but it's their heart. And so I'm just really enjoying being around the community and really learning and taking a deep dive into how everything works. So it's just something that's like this beautiful slow burn. Instead of having it fast, like in your face, I'm really, really loving the slowness of it.
Yeah, and for everybody listening, Danger Jones in my head originally was fashion tones, vibrant
Yeah.
colors. Is it more than that? Is it a whole line?
Okay, so they started out with the fashion colors. They used to own Pulp Riot. They sold it to L'Oreal. They started the fashion. You should definitely read the book The Spiral Staircase. If you haven't, it is absolutely iconic. You are going to love it. Mark my words. Um, so they started out with that. Then they had their lighteners and their gloss toners, and that's what I was like a little curious about. I'm like, is this too good to be true? But like when I'm comfortable, I stay, especially in color, because I don't want to mess up. I don't have time to mess up. But I decided, I was gonna do a photo shoot. So I tried it on a couple of my models and I was like, oh, this shit's good. Like, okay. I need more education on this to figure this out. And then they just came out with a brand new permanent color line called Epilogue. And it is so, so good. The consistency, the results every single time they're reds, like um, it comes in 84 shades. There's just so much about it. And so I dive really deep into that in House of Artisan. So
Wow, I think that's really cool. And I'm seeing more and more of my inspiring, I guess, professionals in the industry move towards Danger Jones.
yeah.
Funny enough, this was almost full circuits almost 1 year ago. I'm on a flight to Premiere Orlando, and it will be my first time going to Naha, and I hadn't been ever, and I've been in the industry since 2007. So mind blown.
Wow.
I happened to be sitting next to a stylist who helps behind the scenes for the stage of Danger Jones. And I'm like, Danger Jones, I've never heard of this. Blah, blah. And I'm like, such an infancy for it. Fast forward today, and now like my girl Emily Chen is working with Danger Jones. I know.
Love her.
So the more I hear, the more inspiring and the more it's catching on. And the efficacy is obviously there, but you have taken it a step further where now in your platform, it sounds like you're actually educating people how to use it when they go to
Yeah.
work with their techniques, correct?
Yes. And you're so right about Emily. She is literally the same person who she is on social media. She is so great. She has so much knowledge under her belt. There's a reason why she is the face of the brand. And she deserves everything. And so do all the girls that work there. They're absolutely incredible. And truly, like if you do you still do hair or do you just
I don't.
no? Well, I don't know. If you know
It's okay.
anybody who's
Yeah.
maybe looking for a brand, seriously, have you ever noticed though, like how as hairstylists, we don't find all of the things that work in one brand typically. We kind of bounce back and
Yeah.
forth to one thing, which is like what is normal, right? This is like the first brand that I'm like, "Oh my god, everything works."
Everything.
So, that saves me time and money.
Yeah.
And so if you know of anybody who's like truly like they are the most supportive brand and they don't look at like your numbers. Like you're allowed to be in the community no matter what your following is, who you are. They embrace you. For most of us, feel like we've been told like we're too loud, we're too this. They accept that and they want you to be that. And I think it's so
Mm.
special.
Yeah. For the people who feel like they're too much or never enough, right? It's like,
Yeah.
that's really cool. I'm curious, speaking of the industry, and you are involved in so much and you're out, you're going to things, like what do you
Yeah.
see is gonna be important for us as creatives in this industry as we continue in 2026? Are there any threats that you're noticing? Like what's your overall kind of picture of the industry state currently?
I
I
was just
know.
like
Let's get real. Let's get real.
let's get real. Okay. So I will say I have just gone through like a big burnout. And what I had noticed in that is I really sat back and reflected and lowered my use of social media. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? Like, what is it? Am I comparing myself? Do I feel like I'm not where I need to be? And honestly, I'm just so tired of everyone arguing and feeling like they need to insert their opinions, and I'm just like, it's so much noise, and I fear that that's gonna be very discouraging on people. There's this part where I'm going into training on how to be a really great educator. But when you constantly hear people being like, "Oh, it's oversaturated. Oh, you need to be like this to be a good educator." It's just really loud and I just couldn't take it anymore. And so I'm like, I'm just going to focus. I'm staying in my own lane. I'm focus on, House of Artisan, the podcast, Danger Jones, really learning the ins and outs. They are so precious. They are going to help me learn all the things in which I don't know of many brands that really sit there and take the time to fly you out and like work with you. So I think, social media is really noisy right now. And so if I had like a piece of advice to share to somebody, it's really cut down the amount of social media and really focusing on your why and staying in your own lane because it's not worth it at all in your mental health.
Yeah, I think that's such good advice, sound advice. And it takes introspection to land at that place because it is a keeping up with the Joneses, no pun intended. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of that. So thank you for bringing that up.
of
Um,
course.
for your brands, what are your main goals or your mission over the next year?
Mm. I think right now, my main goal is to really learn everything about Danger Jones, the ins and the outs, and really working with them closely with how to become the best educator. I feel that I'm not one to, I think it's great that people can put themselves out there and just kind of go with it. I care so much about how my first impression is when I'm going to educate, and I want it to be the best. I know I'm not going to be perfect and I'm going to make those mistakes, but I'm really working on doing that right now and growing within the brand. I would really love to be, where Emily Chen is one day, to be where all the beautiful artists are. Um, as well as having the podcast kick off, I would love that in a way that we could have our own studio to have more in person guests, and continuing to blossom with House of Artisan and being able to work with all these amazing different artists, no matter, and I want it to be different. You know what I mean? I don't want it just be like, which is amazing to have like balayage and stuff like that, but I want it to be about all the things that maybe no one really talks about. Even men's haircuts, who we tend to kind of like put on the back burner because we get to choose what we want, right? So, really doing that. And then whatever brands come my way and are interested, I'll get curious about to see if that's something I'm interested in. I think right now I'm very focused heavily on Danger Jones, but I'm open to the options of, K18 or somebody who can really fit my vibe. And it's an even exchange. It's not that I'm giving, that they're also giving back to me.
Well, I think this is true to you being the curious little girl who's now the curious woman, and you'll stay curious your whole life. And I think there's something very exciting about that because we're meant to continuously grow and evolve. So I love that. Personally, what are you doing to make sure that you don't experience that burnout again besides limiting or just being mindful of your social media use? Is there anything else that you're doing proactively to prevent burnout or just live more fully?
Yeah. I mean, I would like to say, oh, I have this like beautiful balance, but I don't. I think that for me, the biggest issue that I had was I was giving to everybody, but I was not giving to myself because I was so into work. I was so excited. So the next time I feel that like fire, which I kind of always do, of that excitement, and I want to keep going and like I have all this momentum, I think really reminding myself to pay attention to me, keeping on a schedule of working out. I'm starting Pilates now and going back to yoga to find, my inner child and nurture that side. And I do feel like being really good with my eating habits. I think as hairstylists, we forget so much to eat. And if we don't fuel our bodies, we just kind of go womp, womp, womp. And I don't want to do that. I'm very forgetful about eating. So I think that and nourishing my body, staying hydrated. I think this thing that most stylists can relate on.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's when you spoke about how things used to be, um, like we have all these lines that have to fill the gaps of what this current line doesn't have, for example. And now Danger Jones has it all for you. When it comes to
Yeah.
scheduling, are you being proactive in a different way with actually scheduling in time to sit and have a meal? Because that again is one of those, oh, we've never done that.
Yeah. So I will say, like, I have the most wonderful fiance ever. She works from home. So she, if I forget, she brings me my lunch. She is an angel and she really, we try to be very what is that, consistent with going to the grocery store, making sure all of that is done on the weekend. So we have a productive week, that we're meal prepping and doing all of those things. I think just really staying on schedule too. Like I know Mondays are podcast days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are my days that I'm working behind the chair and I'm working out like in the morning before I do these things, right? And then on the weekends, that's where I try to relax, but I know that some of those weekends are for House of Artisan. So there's not much time that's left, which is hard, but I've been also trying to work on outsourcing. So having someone and paying them to help me make some posts so that I can take a back seat.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a constant work in progress, but that preparation will
Yes.
meet all these opportunities. So I love that. Well, for everybody listening, what would be some final words of encouragement as we're continuing to lean into a unique year to be in the industry?
Yeah, I would say try to cancel out the noise if possible. I know that is extremely hard. Something that I just love is the mute button. It doesn't say anything about that person, it's just really for yourself. So, really listening to your body when you feel shameful or when you feel worried, anxious, like going back to your body and be like, why do I feel that? Is it because of a post I just saw? Taking a break, really focusing on maybe 30 minutes to an hour on social media at a time, really coming back to your why. It's it's really loud out there, but I encourage you to um, come back to yourself every time if possible.
Well, I love that advice. Coming back to yourself is so key. And you are a very creative woman. I'm very thankful that you took the time to be with us today and share your journey and just what continues to inspire you. So thank you.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. And we would love to have you on our podcast too.
Let's go. I'll do it.
Listen,
Especially if it's
Rocky's
in
around the corner.
I know
I'm
I
at
was
his
gonna
house
say
right now.
I was like, especially if it's in person in Florida, girl. I'm on the next flight. You don't have to ask me twice. For real. Let's get that
Listen.
studio going.
Ooh,
Um,
don't tempt me with a good time,
Hey,
girl.
Danger Jones, we have an idea for you. I'm kidding.
I know,
But
Danger
no.
Jones, can you set me up with a studio?
Yeah, it'll benefit you, we promise. So, no, I
Yes.
love it. And I just want to say thank you to all the listeners who join us here week after week. If you feel like this platform brings you value, please take a moment, leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening so that more people like you will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, have an awesome day and stay strong.
Did you know over 60% of first-time clients do not return for a second visit? That is so painful, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's where Maya comes in. Maya is the ultimate marketing software for the beauty and wellness industry. We have a proprietary funnel utilizing special algorithms to help connect the right consumers with the right providers at your business. This means that Maya helps you get higher spending clients you love to work with who stay the long haul. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your client count, increase your average ticket, and increase your new client retention, then you need Maya. Go to joinmaya.com to set up your own personal virtual tour and see why over 500,000 consumers have trusted Maya and the businesses we work with to find their perfect beauty and wellness pro. We promise you will love Maya.